Hello, I'm Lerato Matlala, and this is the 8th edition of Creatives Under Lockdown, where we focus on issues affecting artists. After being a backing vocalist for some of the best gospel artists in the country, he went on to win the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz competition. He later then decided to pursue a career as an independent solo artist. This week, I'm in conversation with musician Ntokozo Mahlangu, also known as Shade. So you started off as a backing vocalist. At what point did you decide to go on solo, and what had changed?
Yes, I started off in the industry as a backing vocalist. I did a lot of studio work and on-stage work with several gospel artists, and I loved every moment of it. I still have a lot of respect for backing vocalists. They are one of the most vocally gifted individuals, yet underappreciated. So in my own little way, I still honor them. But going solo has always been a plan for me. I've always seen myself as a front man, as the main entertainer. So for me, that phase was a stumbling block to learn so much about the business, to learn about the art of performing. Also, for me, when I realized that it was time to go solo, I was ready to be in charge of my own vision. I had had a couple of years to think about what is it that I was going to be doing.
When you entered the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz competition in 2017, did you expect to win? And what impact did winning the competition have on your career?
Winning the 2017 Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Discover competition is and will always remain one of my career highlights. I don't remember a moment where I thought about the entry. I think somebody sent me the link and I just thought to myself, well, like I'm very new in the industry. I'm still building the confidence. I'm still building my craft. I think this is going to be a waste of time. But anyway, I entered. So the entry process was that you had to send a 1-minute clip of you performing live, which I had already. So I sent it out and I got shortlisted as one of the 25 groups, so solo artists from across the country. And then the next phase would be getting social media votes to be part of the top 6 artists that will be performing in the development stage of the jazz festival. A month later, I came in, I think I was number 2, if I'm not mistaken. I got to perform at the festival, one of the greatest experiences of my life. And it did so much for me. So the initial expectation, I thought after performing that, there'll be just gigs falling from all over the place, but that didn't happen instantly after that. But what I took out from the experience was the preparation for such a big stage, working with a much larger band, and everything was just wonderful. We were treated like real artists. Remember, this was my first year ever as a solo artist. It was such a wonderful experience, really.
What are some of the challenges that artists are facing?
Artists face a lot of challenges, whether you are signed or you are not signed. But I'm going to speak from a perspective of being an independent artist because that in itself presents a set of its own peculiar challenges. I think, number one, the issue of backing. We don't have any backing at all, from the finances to the resources to the management perspective, we don't have that luxury at all. I often say I wear 150 hats, and some people that I've spoken to actually find it mind-blowing that I'm responsible for the direction of my music, the writing of my music, the production of my music. We come to the stage, I conceptualize everything on stage. We come to the look, every single look you've seen, it's a brainchild of Shade. All the bookings, I'm responsible for that. It's very time consuming. In most cases, you don't get a lot of respect from either promoters or anybody for that matter, because people want to interact with you when you look like a whole unit, where you have a whole team handling different things.
You have spoken openly about artists' struggle to find platforms to express their art. Often people talk about their challenges, but you not only spoke about it, you went on to create a platform. Tell me a little bit about the platform you created for artists.
So, tracking back to one of the challenges, obviously, as an independent artist, is the fact that you don't have a booking agent, you have to look for all those opportunities. And being young, black, and gay presents also, an additional layer of limitations as to how promoters see gay people in this country. They decide on your behalf if you will appeal to the target market of a specific festival or whatever it is. They make those decisions without consulting you or even consulting the consumers, really. So when I realized early in my career that that was going to be one of the challenges that I was going to face, I decided to create my own platform. And for many other artists, I created what we called the Chilling Songs sessions. These were monthly sessions that we used to host in Pretoria. It was just a performance platform that grew into a market of sort where I was also giving an opportunity to young creators, either of crafts or food or drinks or products. It was what we used to describe it was a music market of sort. So yeah, it was just basically to ensure that I had a gig every month. I had an audience to watch what I get to work on. It was beautiful. We ran it all throughout 2017, 2018, half of 2019. One of the issues as well why we could not continue anymore is that it needed a lot of financial backing that we obviously did not have. I'm still writing a lot of proposals to see if I can't get any more support in reviving those sessions, because I know a lot of beautiful things that stemmed out of that. I've seen musical groups form on that stage. I've seen people starting their businesses from that platform. I've seen people making contacts with relevant people within that space. So my plan is really to revive that because it added so much value, especially in the Pretoria creative space.
You've also spoken about the importance of social media. How has it helped you in your work as an artist?
I am very passionate about social media, especially using social media to advance your career as an independent artist. I've seen social media do wonders for me. I often say that my career is actually social media based than anything else. That's where it all started. So between the time I stopped being a backing vocalist and to the time I started doing my own work, there was a long break. So a lot of people that I had met over the years didn't know that I could sing, didn't know that I write music. Most of them saw me at live concerts as a concert goer, but they didn't know that I had the gift. So early 2017, I woke up literally one random morning and I was like, this is it. I should do this. And I thought social media was the only place I could start at. So that's what I did. I had conceptualized the look, I had conceptualized the name, everything about the brand. Social media was the only platform where I could curate the content and get the word out there. That's what I did. I opened up my Twitter, my Instagram account. It is that platform that got me all the attention I needed. I mean, you look at all my stage regalia, you look at my presentation, everything about me just screams, look at me. Also, being queer, I realized as well that it's not everybody that will want to drink my cup of coffee. So social media is that space. You can connect with a lot of communities that are much more accepting, that are willing to support you. To this day, I present a lot of my art on social media.
Earlier, you mentioned how you conceptualized everything about your brand, including the look. How important is your image as an artist?
It sounds like a cliche, but image is everything. I take my image very serious. I think maybe personally, I love clothes. I love looking great. It's important that I look the way I do on stage and off stage. For me, it's a form of expression, it's a form of revolt, it's a form of pushing a particular agenda. For me, it was important to go with the image I have because I felt the industry had a lot of people that I could have sounded like or I could have looked like, but they were already filling that space. So, in the words of our Miss Universe, that take up space in society and cement yourself, that's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to serve something that was different, that was not there in the industry. Hence, you see me with my colorful image, with all the beautiful kimonos and the beautiful shades and the beautiful hair. All of that for me, there's thought in each and every piece I get to wear or any ensemble I get to present. So it's important, and I always say individuality will take you places.
So this month we are celebrating the youth of 1976. What do you think are some of the pressing issues facing the youth?
There are a lot of issues that young people are still facing, or we are still facing as young people. I'm still young and happening and pretty. And I do not want to address situations such as crime, poverty, disease, gender-based violence, unemployment, and all of those. But I think our main issue is an identity issue. We still can't position ourselves in society. And I think that stems from how we've constantly been compared to the youth of 1976. We've been made to feel like we've got nothing to offer. And I think it scars most of us because we know how powerful we are. We know that we've got strong voices. We know that we can do amazing things as a united front. We are fully aware of the vigor we possess inside. However, the struggle is positioning. We just can't position ourselves. If you've identified an issue that you can change, there's always battles as well inside you of, do I want this for myself or do I want this for the greater society? Because also our democracy is very young. There's still a lot of things that need to be addressed.
It is also Pride Month. Are we making progress as a society in as far as dealing with issues affecting the LGBTQI community?
It's heartwarming to see every year how this day grows, how we see more and more people coming in support of our struggles and, recognizing that we matter, recognizing that we are functional members of society. And I think that's one of our major cries, to be seen and accepted as functional members of societies. South Africa is making progress, really, and we've seen in the last couple of months the ruling party launching in Gauteng the LGBTQI desk. This is a desk that is focused on assisting and dealing with issues relating to the LGBTQI community. They do a lot of things, from capacity building of different government service providers, from the SAPS, how do you handle issues of corrective rape, of homophobia related assaults, many, many, many other things. And I think that's something worth celebrating. It shows that there's progress. Our constitution really also is one of the things that we need to always celebrate for accommodating and recognizing and accepting and promoting the rights of everybody that is part of society. But there's still so much work to be done. We still see a lot of homophobia happening on social media, and those are true reflections of some of our societies.
So South Africa currently has more than 83,000 cases of coronavirus. How has the virus and the regulations to curb the spread of it affected your work?
COVID-19 changed the game completely for all of us and for artists. Really, I bleed for my fellow artists because, most of us depend on performing, doing gigs, and all of that has been closed right now. We are left to fend for ourselves in some other ways. But I had a lot of plans for this year. My EP was supposed to come out in March. We were in the final stages of the recording when the lockdown happened. I'm still not done with that project. I had a lot of projects on the pipeline planned, and all of that obviously has been affected by the lockdown restrictions. But I think one thing that came out of it that's great is the fact that we are now forced to sit down and think about innovative ways to conduct our business, to still make a living out of this. Hence, you've seen a lot of digital-based or virtual-based concerts happening, people buying tickets online to stream concerts in the comfort of their homes. And I think that's great. A lot of us have done Instagram lives, where we do live concerts there. We are doing a lot of interviews. We are still doing PR and all of that. Yeah, for me, it has just been that opportunity to sit down and reflect and think about how do I still maintain consistency? How do I still make a living while I'm still at home?
You have mentioned that winning the Joy of Jazz competition was your highlight. What other highlights have you had since the beginning of your career?
Every day for me is a highlight. Every opportunity that I get is a highlight. Every stage appearance that I get to do is a highlight, because I come from a place where I didn't believe so much in the brand shade. Although I seemed like I had all the confidence to do what I do, I didn't when it all started. But every time I get that email or that call to say, we'd like for you to perform, for me, it's just like a mind-blowing experience, because it's all a game of getting the attention and being able to express the messaging that you have. So when people show that interest, for me, it's always a highlight. But over and above that, the recording of both my singles and how they've been received, it has just been really, really humbling and mind-blowing. I think I've created also sort of a cult following, if I can call it, of people that are always there at my shows. They're always there on social media to support, to retweet, to share. Over and above everything, you need ears that will listen. If not ears, you need people that will amplify your messaging as well.
So finally, Wena and One Night have been out. What more can we expect? What are some of your future plans?
Yes, last year I released 2 singles, one called Wena, another one called One Night, which have been received remarkably, and I'm always grateful, and people have been asking for more. And as I mentioned that before the lockdown, I was in the final stages of completing an 8-track EP. So I'm still going to do that. That's still within my plans for the year. As restrictions get lifted and loosened up as well, it gives us an opportunity to then go back to studio and start doing the work. I'm also in talks with a production company and seeing if we can hook up a virtual concert in honor of the South African Pride, which is happening later this year. Also expect some TV work happening. I'm approached by a particular company that wants to shoot a pilot project that is looking at food and music and beverages. Those are stuff that I love. I'm passionate about food. I'm passionate about, cute beverages or whatever it is. So all of those will be, things will unfold as time goes. But yeah, there's a lot that people can look forward to this year.
For the next edition of Creatives Under Lockdown, you can visit sabcnews.com or at SABC News on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. For SABC Digital News, I'm Ntokozo Mahlangu.